Clearfield Doctrine. All courts were dissolved in 2008 under the Clearfield Doctrine, then became registered companies on Dun and Bradstreet Company Search. When governments enter the world of commerce, they are subject to the same burdens as any private firm or corporation. U.S. v. Burr. 309 U.S. 22. C. 22. USCA 286 E. Bank of U.S. v. Planters Bank of Georgia 6 L. ed. We 244. Note: under the Clearfield Doctrine, the courts are no longer government entities in that they are demanding private monies and must have a contract with you to compel performance. They are no more special as a normal business than your local Jack-in-the-Box. Clearfield Doctrine. Private commercial paper is used by corporate government. Then government loses its sovereignty status and becomes no different than a mere private corporation. Government. Create and enforce civil laws known as statutes, acts, and legislation created by the Bar Association, set up by Rothschilds, which are duty-bound to comply with the law of contracts. The law of contracts requires signed written agreements and complete transparency. Governments have descended to the level of mere private corporations. Clearfield Doctrine Supreme Court Annotated Statute. Clearfield Trust Company v. United States 318 U.S. 363 to 371. 1942. Whereas defined pursuant to Supreme Court Annotated Statute, Clearfield Trust Company v. United States 318, U.S. 363 371, 1942. Governments descend to the level of a mere private corporation and take on the characteristics of a mere private citizen, where private corporate commercial paper Federal Reserve notes and securities checks is concerned. For purposes of suit, such corporations and individuals are regarded as entities entirely separate from government. What the Clearfield Doctrine is saying is that when private commercial paper is used by corporate government, then government loses its sovereignty status and becomes no different than a mere private corporation. As such, government then becomes bound by the rules and laws that govern private corporations, which means that if they intend to compel an individual to some specific performance based upon its corporate statutes or corporation rules, then the government, like any private corporation, must be the holder in due course of a contract or other commercial agreement between it and the one upon whose demands for specific performance are made. And further, the government must be willing to enter the contract or commercial agreement into evidence before trying to get the court to enforce its demands, called statutes. This case is very important because
All right, because because it is a 1942 case, right? So basically, in 1942, this case set precedents that the United States so-called government, they descended to a mere corporation. Now you remember the Pope, he wrote Obama and said, "You are not the president of the United States. You are merely a CEO of a corporation." And one thing I want to start with is that did you hear what they? If you go to court and ask them how did they get jurisdiction, you challenge their jurisdiction. This is your evidence right here. This is your evidence to Clearfield document. Challenge their jurisdiction. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm telling you to do your research. It makes sense to me because the article said that if they take you to court claiming you broke some statutes they got, it's UCC codes, the law of the land, General Yohana and Nathan, claiming you broke their laws and they want to prosecute you or sue you, whether it be civil or criminal, they are not, they don't have sovereignty. For one, international laws say they don't have sovereignty over indigenous people of the land. And number two is that they must take the contract between you and them to court to prove they have standing to bring whatever action they're trying to bring to you. The only action they can bring to you has got to be by contract. Yeah, maritime law. Maritime law. That's contract between you and them. If they don't have a contract saying you agreed that they could be governor over you and punish you for breaking their laws, their corporate laws, then the judge will throw it out. He has to throw it out. But you have to claim that you have to claim your you have to jurisdiction. You have to ask them to prove their jurisdiction, challenge the jurisdiction of the court. But if the court, that's the court bringing these, that's if the state is bringing charges to you. This is the article against their charges. This case set precedents. This is your argument right here. The Clearfield document says that there are merely a that it happens. The Clearfield document, Supreme Court, annotated statute. This is the Supreme Court annotated statute. The Supreme Court, the Clearfield Trust versus the United States. You see, this is codified in law. This is law. That the United States, since they made money, they cannot hold authority and jurisdiction over people to prosecute them for breaking their laws, unless they can prove that they have a contract from you stating that you consent to all of their laws. That's Nate. They can bring all their laws down on Nate and General Yohana. But Israelites who don't claim to be their citizens, and even if they say, well, you got a driver's license. That's before I realized that you were trying to make these driver's license say that I give up my God-given rights, my unalienable rights, for some privileges, and you gotta have something specific saying that I give up all of my God-given rights and I consent to your governing me and I will keep all of your laws. Just like the Israelites, that's how they became citizens in the kingdom of God, because they swore to God. See, they swore to God that they would keep His laws, and they would enter their children into the covenant with God. And if they break His laws, then He can punish them. It's the same thing, man. Then they accept His punishment and His judgment for breaking His laws. It's the same thing. So they're pretending to be God. They're taking, and so that's your argument too. You already swore allegiance to God and His laws. You're under His covenant. You're under His jurisdiction. You do not. That's what Colonique was telling you. Do not swear allegiance to that Captain. I shouldn't have said his first name. Colin Kaepernick. Don't stand up and put your hand over your heart and swear allegiance to that flag, because you're entering into covenant. You're entering. It's like putting your hand on. You swear. You understand. You swear to tell the truth. Put your hand on the Bible. Nothing but the truth. It's them taking your authority for your own life away from you, and you saying, I consent to you governing me like God. When you say, I keep your laws, dummy, you saying, I give up my citizenship with the Most High God in His kingdom, and I accept your, I swear allegiance to your kingdom, United States Corporation. I'm under your laws. Whatever you set, I will follow them. My kids will follow them. Their kids will perpetual slaves to you, to your law. We're perpetually, from generation to generation, I give all of my children to you. The same thing. It's the same thing. That's what they're using on you. This right here breaks that. You have to declare it, though. You challenge their jurisdiction. They say, well, I'm not a citizen. I'm not employed by your U.S. corporation. You got to start thinking like this. I'm not employed by your U.S. corporation. You have no authority in this land because this is my ancestors' land. And I have committed me and my children over to the Most High God. We swore, our ancestors swore us in covenant with Him. And if I break His laws, and I'm a traitor if I come and swear allegiance to you, because you are the Most High God's enemy. You're His enemy. Psalms 83, 1 through 9. 1 through 9, or somewhere close to that. If I swear allegiance to the United States, I can't be your citizen and a citizen of the Most High God's kingdom too, of the Israelites. I can't be an Israelite and be a employed citizen employed in your corporation, swear allegiance to your corporation. So the main thing is they got to bring a contract showing where you gave up your citizenship with the Israelites. You know, calling yourself Negro, black, and colored, and all that. They'll use all of that against you. They say, "Ain't you? What's your residence?" My residence is wherever I set my foot. It's my territory. You can't come and move me off of my spot. You can't force me because I am God's chosen, and wherever I go, I'm still His chosen. The earth was created for my sake, for our sake, the Israelites. You can show them all of that. That's your Bible. I mean, that's your proof. The Bible and all those scriptures saying that Second Ezra 56 and 54, all down through there and everywhere. Joel, everywhere where it says He's our God and none other. In Deuteronomy, where our parents swore allegiance to the Most High, and they entered their children into the trust of the Most High. They said, we accept your punishment if we don't keep your law. Generation after generations till the end of time. We can't get out of that covenant. If we do, the Most High is going to destroy us. We can't. And if they say, well, you entered into the covenant with us because you called us your country. You called us your government. That's before I didn't know. You miseducated me and my children to steal our land and force us under your jurisdiction, unknowing to us. That was fraud on your part, United States. That's fraud. You can't secretly or with force me under your jurisdiction, force me to assemble. That's against the law. That's against the natural law, against the Constitution. That's against the rights of indigenous people. That's against the human rights, the law, the courts of human rights. That's against their statute. You can't force another man to assimilate into your culture and into your jurisdiction. That's out. So this document right here proves it, what I've been saying. I hope y'all take it and study it and meditate on it and take those scriptures get all the scriptures together, and somebody, if you can, make a video or send me my email, send it to me, or post. That's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to gather all the scriptures showing where we are in covenant Israelites, and this, you don't need much, and you use all of that against them, because it states in the Constitution, if you swore allegiance to another country, you can't be a U.S. citizen. The Dred Scott case proves that black people, copper tone people, can't be U.S. citizens because we're already sovereign to this land. Not because they don't like us or they don't want us, or they don't want to use us. It's just that they cannot make us they can't make us U.S. citizens because they know that we are indigenous to this land. They say, "Oh, you can't be nothing but three-fifths of a. We can't let you vote. We can't let you vote all the way. Every five men count for three. You know what I mean? So that's why they make you think it's racism and prejudice, but they know they would be breaking this contract, international human rights, and rights of indigenous people if they try to say you are a citizen of the United States. They'll insinuate it, but they'll never put it on paper. They'll use your vote. They let you vote. They just did that to let you vote. You see, they let anybody vote. Illegal aliens, they set them up. You can vote. They use it. That don't mean that they citizens. Just like it don't mean you a U.S. citizen because they let you vote, because they give you a Social Security number. They showing y'all that stuff right in your face when they brought them illegal aliens on here and gave them the benefits, the same benefits they've been giving us, which is ours. It was ours. It belonged to us anyway. Just because they gathered it up and gave it to us don't make us their employee. You have to have a contract with me saying I give up my citizenship in God's kingdom as an Israelite. I give up my ancestry, heritage, identity, and I submit and consent to your rules and policies. And it has to be in a contract with your signature, your thumbprint. You know, it has to be a wet ink signature before they can use that to enter it in court to say they have jurisdiction over you. They don't have it. That's why you challenge their jurisdiction, because they don't have that statement. Birth certificate, none of that. You didn't. Hey, that don't. You didn't sign no birth certificate. That's why they put your footprint on something. You used to put your footprint on that birth certificate, baby's footprint. You know, all kind of stuff, man. They use all kind of little tricky tactics. But once you come to the awareness of what they done, you can erase all of that by saying, you know, you violated my due process. I knew nothing. I was not aware of the contracts you was trying to say I entered into. It was not a meeting of the mind. You tricked me. So therefore, whatever contract you trying to use to say I gave you consent to rule over me is null and void, because there was not a meeting of the mind. I did not know what I'm looking at right here. Now that I found this contract and I understand the law, I understand the law of God, the law of nature, the natural law, understand what, you know, the insinuations of me saying I'm a citizen of the United States. I understand now that I'd be violating and giving up my citizenship with the Most High as an Israelite. I'll be I will be uh dishonoring my ancestors. I will be giving up my rightful heritage in the kingdom of the Most High God. So I hope y'all get it this time. I hope I, didn't keep you too long. I hope y'all get this, man. You gotta get this. You gotta get this. All praises to the Most High.